What's going on? We on Behind the Boards, episode 20. You know what I mean? We missed a week because we had our third-year anniversary of the Producers Corner, you know what I mean, last week. So we're here now. We got Soul City in the building, Mr. Sparkz in the building, K Cut from Main Sources in the building.
Word
you
up.
know what I mean? Kev Brown is in the building.
No doubt.
Mighty My Eastern Conference is in the building. You know what I'm saying? Of course, my partner, Rockoleone and shit.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's dope to have y'all brothers in here. You know what I was saying earlier? We've been tagging, you know, doing Instagram tag for a minute. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's the tag. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But we here, and before we even get into this, I'm gonna ask, you know, all three of each individually, like, what's going on? Like, K Cut, what's going on with you today? Before we get into questions. K Cut, you there?
Oh yeah. I thought you were talking about Kev Brown.
No. I said K Cut. I said,
Oh.
what's going on with you today?
Yo, man, just working, man, hustling, man, still keeping the brand alive. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, we just launched this whole Patrick Ewing and Main Source shoe. You know what I'm saying? So that's been going really strong. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I'm just in the lab, man, trying to have some visions on some new shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's basically like what's really new. You know what I'm saying? For the new year, we got some shit popping with Main Source, like getting ready to do some special shit for the 30th anniversary. You know what I'm saying? So it's this one is going to, the next year is going to be crazy because it's going to be 30 years anniversary of Main Source breaking atoms. And we're about to do something really, really crazy for the fans. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people were like, oh shit, y'all got the sneaker like Ewing and Main Source thing. And it was like crazy. So every year we try to just come with like something real dope for the fans. You know what I'm saying? So, but other than that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm just in the lab trying to cook up like real ill shit. Like, I finally got my studio to the point where it's just like I could do whatever I want to do. I got like all the fucking toys in the world, excuse my language, you know what I'm saying? You know, and just like I just been also digging hard though, man, on finding like new vibes, new, you know, vinyl and stuff like that too. So that's been like my main focus right now, man. Like, you know, just cooking in the lab and you know, keeping the Main Source brand, you know, going strong. You know what I'm saying?
All right, Kev, what's up with you, man?
So with me, I got a couple things. I got the Good album out right now. It's a new album. It's on my website, officialkevbrown.com. Uptown XO got a new project out. It's called Culture Over Corporate Part 2. I did all the beats on that. Shout out to XO. I'm doing the beat sale right now. You can hit me up at kevbrownbeats@gmail.com. I don't know when this video is going up, but right now it's, you know, available beats. You know, some beats available. Word up. Still some beats available. What else? Me and Jay Sa working on some more stuff that should be done soon. You know, just making beats and staying home, you know, other than all that stuff. Word up.
Word. Peace to Jay Sinai, man. That's my dude right there, man. He comes out here to Toronto, man. We be doing that digging shit, man.
Oh shit.
That's my dude right there.
Yeah, he's super duper record digging, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, shouts to XO and YU too, man.
Yeah, man. YU nice with it. YU on the new album, The Good Joint. Pick a verse on that joint.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. Check the trailer on that joint, man.
You know, I moved out here 12 years ago from New York to spin out in the clubs out here, you know, after paying my dues in the New York clubs for years, making $250 a night. It was like, this was like the payoff, the Vegas, you know, for DJs to come and make a little cake. So I did that. And now with COVID, everything shut down out here, you know, so I found myself kind of just like returning to my 16-year-old self of doing IG lives with just golden era hip hop. And, you know, this new technology came out where you can extract vocals out of a song. So I've been doing all these like original mashups with shit, you know, and just kind of taking it back to the essence, I guess, for lack of a better term, just with COVID kind of forced that on everybody.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So it's crazy because you went over there, and that's that's your cake right there. Is the DJing in places, and that's great. Is there a certain club that you DJ out there? Or is there just different ones?
I was at the clubs over at the Wynn Casino for 10 years. And then I went over to this new place at Park MGM called On the Record. And we were actually having really like legendary cats come out, like Jazzy Jeff and Questlove and Clark Kent and Stretch Armstrong. Wow. So it was like one last good hurrah before COVID. And then COVID kind of shut everything down.
Mm-hmm. COVID is fucking everything up.
I mean, it's helping this type of stuff out where people can, you know what I mean, like do this broadcast and stuff. But besides that, in life, like,
and I miss Vegas.
Outside is good. Outside is good. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially now, summer's almost over. I know you're still good out there, Vegas. I mean, over here we getting the winter coming soon. You know what I mean? So
no doubt.
Crazy. You okay, Cut? How did the whole main source get put together? I always like.
I mean, it's a short but quick and not even a long story. I mean, me and Large Pro, we were basically friends in high school, and a friend of mine that was a friend of Large Pro's, Van, had introduced me to Large Pro in high school in New York City, Queens, and Flushing, and basically we connected and brought him back to the crib because my mom was the manager at the time. So everybody was like, "Yo, let's just do it." So my mom put the monies, you know, together and got us in the studio. She found 1212, linked us up with Paul C, you know what I'm saying? And the magic was made right from there, you know what I'm saying? Pretty quick, you know what I mean? But like, there's a lot of details within the story, but that's pretty much like, you know what I mean? Like a quick, you know, how we really, you know what I mean, form, you know, main source and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
What happened though? What was your mom part of Wild Pitch Records, or she was just a
No. We actually, like, the group in itself, we actually put together our own label. It was called Actual Records, and that was an independent label. So that's where we started putting out like a lot of singles, and you know, a lot of people picked up on it. So. And we did videos too. So back in the days, back in New York, they had like this thing called the box where people paid for the videos and stuff like that. So we were getting a lot of spins on that. And then you know, a lot of labels started, you know,
calling. Remember that.
Remember that, right?
Yeah, damn.
Two Box Network.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So so basically in a nutshell, like a lot of labels started, you know, like, oh shit, like this new group, like, you know, they got this song called Watch Roger Do His Thing, and you know, we got endorsed by Eric B, you know what I'm saying, and God rest his soul, you know, Guru was in the video, you know what I'm saying, from Gangstar, you know what I'm saying. So like a lot of people saw that and pretty much gravitated to the song and the group. So from there, you know, we just decided, like, you know, dealing with an independent was the better way to go, opposed to going with the major, because at the time, like, indies were like doing it. Like Wild Pitch was like one of the it was a beast, you know what I'm saying? You had like Big Beat and like all them other type of, you know, labels, Select and all of that. So we figured, you know what, let's just rock with the independent because we'll go, you know, a long way, you know what I mean? But you know, thinking back, you know, there's goods and there's bad things about being on an indie, and then there's good things about being on a major. The good thing about being on an indie is that they'll focus on you, you know what I'm saying? But they don't necessarily have the funds to do what the majors can really do, you know what I'm saying? So that was like the bad thing about being on an indie label. But you know, eventually we got picked up, you know, through EMI, so they picked up the whole, you know, Wild Pitch situation, and that was a good thing for us. But then after that, like, the group started to like fizzle out, and you know, all that shit started to, you know, just break up. So, you know, before we even got the chance to really enjoy what a major could do, we were already, you know what I mean, dead in the water and shit. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, EMI was Faking the Funk was on there, right?
Yeah, yep.
Was on the White Man Can't Jump, White Man.
Yep,
Can't Jump
White Man Can't Jump soundtrack. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that you left Wild Pitch. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just because I thought that album was EMI for the Wild.
I thought EMI picked up Wild Pitch.
Yeah.
EMI picked up Wild Pitch, but they picked Wild Pitch up because they were like, we were charting so crazy that they were like, they didn't want to fuck with anything else on the label but Main Source. So they said, fuck it, we'll buy the whole label. You know what I'm saying? So they inherited, like, you know what I'm saying? They inherited everything on the label too. So once, you know, Main Source broke up, it was just like, that's when shit went downhill. You know what I mean? So it was like, why, you know what I mean? This is what we invested in. You know what I mean? So that's pretty much how like the falling of Wild Pitch, you know, went out real quick, because when we fucked up, you know what I'm saying? It was like everything started fucking up, because it was like they didn't have the champs on the label, like, you know, doing it like that. You know what I'm saying? So Large Pro left, he went to Geffen. You know, we stayed back and did the Fuck What You Think album with Mikey, you know what I'm saying? And then after that, you know what I mean, it was just like boom, it was like everything was dead in the water, man, because you had like MC Search that came aboard, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to shit talk people, but he kind of like really fucking destroyed the situation with Wild Pitch and the magic that Wild Pitch had. You know what I'm saying? So that pretty much made shit like salt in the water, man. So it was just like, nah, man, like we gotta go. So we basically, you know, had our scapegoat, you know what I'm saying? You know, and we basically, you know, jumped ship. And after that, it was like, yo, everything was done.
I was going to ask, what was the death of Main Source? But I think you kind of elaborated on it when you brought Search into the picture.
I mean, put it this way, man. A lot of people always say, yo, what happened with y'all and Large Professor and everything like that? It was, you know, it when you're young, you know what I'm saying? And you really don't understand business, you know what I'm saying? And I think, you know, as a young kid thinking back then, a lot of and there's also influences as well. You know what I'm saying? Myself and Large were producing records, like, you know what I'm saying? He was doing projects, I was doing projects. My mom was the manager for the group, you know what I'm saying? But when you see other people like handling your business properly, and you're like, oh shit, like this guy's got this guy's got that, you know, people, you know, look at that and they're like, yo, why don't you have that? You know what I'm saying? And then it just goes back to like thinking like, oh fuck, they you know, people are just like trying to like fuck people over and all type of shit. But it was never like that. You know what I'm saying? So it was basically over business, man. You know what I'm saying? And if we as a group would have been like, yo, like, let's sit down and talk. Like, let me see the fucking numbers. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like, you know, I'm getting fucked. You know what I'm saying? If we were smarter back then and we said, yo, let's sit down and deal with this, we would have probably been together today. You know what I'm saying? But because we were very young, you know what I'm saying? It was just like a lot of business and a lot of friends were getting, you know, in our brains. And it was just like, yo, fuck that. You don't need those guys, or you don't need those guys. Yo, fuck it. We can do it. You know, da-da-da. You know the street shit, man. The street shit is like, they don't want nothing better for you but to just be on the streets and fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, that's basically what the takeover was, man. This is like, it wasn't business, man. It wasn't, and we weren't thinking, man. But, you know, years later, again, like, we talked and it was just like, yo, like, what the fuck was this about, bro? You know what I'm saying? And then, and when you talk as men, you have a different, like mind frame. And then you're like, yo, like, I never meant to, you know, say this, or I never meant to, we should have just, you know, talk shit out. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we would have figured it out and figured out the plan and move forward. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you live and you learn, man. But at the same time too, for us, it's like, you know, we left a legacy, you know what I'm saying? And the legacy is like, we contributed towards something that actually, you know, broke out to different atoms, as we say, and sparked a lot of other people's careers and shit. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's one thing I could say that, you know, we did, man. You know what I'm saying? And also contributing towards like the sound and the shaping and how music is, you know, advanced and you know what I mean? We were part of something that made sense and made sense to the world. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Definitely. You know, that's crazy. I got one question there before we could jump into the question. How did you guys decide to pick Mikey D when Large Professor left? I just want to know, because I expected when I seen the video, I was like, damn, Mike's with these guys? Like, yo, I didn't.
Mikey, listen, Mikey was with Paul C. You know what I'm saying? So Mikey was always a part of the family. You know what I'm saying? So it like Mike, it was a no-brainer, man. What fuck with Mike, man? Because it's like, yo, Mike is like, he's hands down, like Mike can rhyme. Like he's chewing motherfuckers up. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, yo, Mike knew that we were with Paul C. We knew Mike was with Paul C. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, it's official, man. We fuck with Mike, man. And me and Mike, we always had this vibe together, man. So me and Mike would just be in a fucking room, you know, just cooking shit up, man, and just like throwing ideas. Like he would rhyme, or like I would pull out a record, and you know, I'll be like, yo, Mike, what do you think? All right, yo. And he would start freestyling. You know what I'm saying? We'd be locked up in the fucking crib for like weeks, man, just vibing and shit. You know what I'm saying? So me and Mike, you know, it was already like vibes and official shit when we said, yo, let's just do this album. And the title of the album, Fuck What You Think, it wasn't trying to like diss anybody or diss Large Pro or whatever. It was just basically a thing of like, yo, like you could do your shit and basically fuck what people think, because it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? If you're a student of music and that's what you love, fuck what who else thinks any other way. You know what I'm saying?
So saying that, Mikey D, y'all still was on Wild Pitch Records with that album.
Yeah. So we
left the EMI and you still stuck with Wild Pitch, like
yeah. We just had to deliver that last record, you know, for the Scapegoat. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did.
Oh, okay.
I still got my sealed copies. Look at.
Oh, you
got a bunch of them, Johns.
There you go. That's what's up, man.
That's real hip hop. Yeah, I didn't even had it. I only got I got the Wild Pitch. Fuck What You Think, the vinyls. I seen it one time. I was in B Street Records, and and I saw that shit. I'm like, oh shit! I didn't think this shit ever even came out, and I took that shit. And this was like, this was like 97 or 96 when I found it. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know, because it came out in 94, right?
Yep, 94.
Well, this has Roger on the A side and Large Professor on the B side, but then wasn't Roger on the B side of Looking at the Front Door?
Yeah.
I got that record. Yeah.
But that was on Wild Pitch. This is on Actual, right?
That's on Actual. That's our label, right? So you got the original shit. That shit is official right there, man. Yep.
Yeah, real joint.
You got the official shit right there. And it's sealed. That's crazy.
So check it, K-Cut.
Yo.
It might sound like out the box or whatever, or it might, you know what I mean? Or probably sound wet, probably, you know what I mean? Anyway, just to keep the Main Source name alive or whatever, you ever thought about like bringing like different MCs in every album, like still Main Source, but you had Large Professor, then you had Mikey D, then you bring somebody else in for another album, but all under Main Source?
You know what's so funny? Me and Large actually talked about that, man. It's funny, man, because it's just like, you know, when you really think about it, it was like, yo, okay, we did Breaking Atoms. You know, we had Nas, we had Akinelli, we had Joe Fatal. You know what I'm saying? It was like we were introducing like a lot of people that you know came through now are in the industry. And then when we did Fuck What You Think, we brought the Locks. You know what I'm saying? We brought you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, yo, we keep finding like these motherfuckers that like are now like, you know, a part of like the whole history. So, you know, we thought about it, you know what I mean? But it's just one of those things where it's just like we gotta stay, you know what I mean? Like if we work on something new, like, you know what I'm saying? We just gotta be against the grain, like, you know what I'm saying? And keep it like 100 official, but also, you know, making sure that we catch new fans, you know what I'm saying? And I like to say, I'm not stuck in time where it's just like, yo, these motherfuckers are still sampling up on the SB12, which is still dope. But, you know, you gotta be able to, you know, catch new fans where your shit makes more sense and be a little bit more relevant, but still stay, you know, to where the essence came from. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So, you know, I mean, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion, but I'm always like that because I DJ too. So I DJ and I play shit that motherfuckers are like, oh shit, like it's like almost you're teaching them. You know what I'm saying? You're teaching them, you know, about hip hop, and you're teaching them about shit that they probably didn't know, or if they do know, they love it even more. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why I got y'all three in here, because y'all producers and DJs, and you know what I mean, and label situations. You know what I'm saying? Yo, Kev, man, let's take it back to the beginning, man. What was you using when you first started making beats, man?
Like when
you
like first or like
yeah first,
like first
what you're
ever, like
using
yo,
now.
I gotta get some stuff.
You can tell us now, but tell us, but back then.
Back then, it was early on. So it was, you know, from like pause beats, you know what I mean? Like
Word.
2 tape decks or like one double cassette deck, you know what I mean? Moved up to like the Gemini sampler with the big circle
Yo, I
button
had
on
the
it.
same shit, yo, with the 4-track, yo.
And then you got, yeah.
Yo, the
That's the
pause
extra,
tapes were the
like, 'cause
shit
you
though.
move up. If you could do them right, yeah.
What was your first official like piece of equipment? Like,
The first joint was it's called the Ka S20. It's from the Ka. Yeah, I got it out the Musicians for Magazine.
yeah, I remember that.
S20.
Yep.
Yeah, it
remember
looked
when
like
the
an
Source had
MPC,
it.
but it was not an MPC. Word. It had the plastic buttons on it, the little screen. I was getting busy with it though. I was, you know, that and the 4-track. Wow, I was getting busy. Yeah, I had that for a while, and then I moved up to the MPC 2000 XL. My man Ken Wood had the regular 2000. He was like, oh, and he heard me making beats with what, you know, he didn't see what I was using. He was like, when he finally said, he was like, you making beats on this? This what you making beats? So later on, you know, I got a credit card, and that first thing with the credit card, you know what I mean? MPC came to the house, wow. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was the very,
It was like,
yeah, it was
smelling that shit. No, you smell it when it's brand new. You like,
it's real.
like the smell of a Technique
It's
12.
real when they come to the house in the box. Christmas feeling, you know, real birthday.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, the first open. Then
Yeah, so that was, you know, and then bow from there, you know, I used that a long time. And you know, I moved on to use the other MPCs and stuff, the 2500 and
I got my
blah 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 blah. You know, it's a bunch of, it's a zillion of them now. I use the MPC Live now. That's the main joint that I use
I
now.
got my joint right here. I got my stuff on it though right here. Live. Mighty Maya, you still making beats? Or you just deep? You still fucking with the beats or not?
I am. I'm making beats. I'm doing projects. You know, like the house music got so big out here for a little while that I said, you know, I was spinning in the clubs and you kind of just get wrapped up in it. So I did this project called OG House, where I recruited all my favorite MCs from being a child, and I kind of had them rhyme over up-tempo stuff. You know, but I did a song with Large, I did a song with Schoolie D and Noriega, and just, I did like 20 songs. I only put out maybe like 5 of them. So I did that for a little while. Now I'm kind of back to making hip hop stuff and just kind of experimenting, you know.
What are you using?
I'm using Ableton.
What were you using back then? What were you using back then?
I started with an MPC 60 and then upgraded to the 3000. Remember, that was like the biggest deal ever when they came out with the technology where the pads cut each other off. Because with the MPC 60, the pads didn't cut each other off. So that was like the biggest day when they came up with that upgrade. But I had them all. I had an ASR.
That was my first. Yeah.
Although I had the rack mount, which wasn't really as hot as the keyboard.
So, like, what made you put the whole Eastern Conference together and shit? What was?
You know, me and Eon always kind of like incorporated being like big sports fans into the hip hop. So like that's where the name came from, you know. obviously a sports connotation. But it really just started as our group, the High and Mighty, and then we kind of got caught up in the whole fat beat scene where you would Stretch and Bobbito would play your record on Thursday night. You'd go to Fat Beats on Friday. You would see people saying, "Hey, what's that record where?" And they would be talking about your record, and then they would go buy it on the shelf. And that kind of like the interacting with the fans, like that was huge. So, I guess Cage was on our radar because of his record on Bobbito's label, Agent Orange.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was really the start, is just doing a side project with Cage, Smut Peddlers, putting that record out. It did pretty well. And then, continuing with maybe this could be a label too. And then that was a big deal for us when we got signed to Rawkus, because we got a label deal for Eastern Conference. So that was big, like you always wanted to like have more than one album option, so.
No, that was dope. You guys got like about at least 10 albums on there, don't you? Like how many?
Yeah. Just the two on Rawkus was Smut Peddlers and High and Mighty, and then we just started putting stuff out ourselves.
The Tame One joint, right? Tame One. And the Tame and Cage album, right? There was Elite Brothers, and you got, and then you had Copyrights album,
right?
Then you had what's up with Mr. Eon today?
He's living back in Philly as a 14-year-old son who wants to be an MC, of course, and he's just chilling. He's doing real estate stuff.
Oh, okay.
We've been wanting to work on new stuff. He's had the same beats for like the last 3 years. You know how that goes.
Definitely, it's just I just remember that come up, and my man Nick, shout out to my brother Nick, he's the one that put me on, these dudes is dope. Check out all this, because that Sound Bombing, when that Sound Bombing 2 album came out, the whole next generation of rappers, you know what I mean? Like boom, I was like, okay, you got Thurston Howell, Ari the Rugged Man. You hear all these people on LP, you know what I mean? Like they're all on that shit, like coming from like the Lyricist Lounge, you know what I mean? Like this crazy, like.
Yeah, I don't think there'll ever be another Rawkus as far as like an independent label that had basically major label funding behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like no one was spending the kind of money they were in the underground shit, at least.
Shit, y'all was like loud, man. Y'all was like loud records.
Right?
What's crazy is this is my always thought. Cool G Rap got like $1 million deal with them. As I'm correct, and it seemed like after that happened, you didn't really hear nothing about Ruckus anymore after that. Am I correct? Or
that's so funny you say that, because I always say that, not in a negative way, but when I saw that overspending on a G-Rap album,
G-Rap's one of my favorite rappers.
Of course, like G-Rap should have large beats and sound grimy, but they had Timberland come in and because they kind of got caught up in what was big on Hot 97 at the time. They brought Cypher Sounds in as an A&R, and he was Flex's man. So they kind of were trying to start doing what Flex was playing instead of keep going with the Mos Def type of, direction. And you're right. That's when it like really, the big budget Cool G Rap album.
Yep. Yeah, because it's crazy. The same thing from the Ruckus, like you said, once Ruckus stopped, you seen Eastern Conference and Def Jux. And I don't know if you guys were touring together, because you guys were both like knowing each other. And there was a Weatherman, right? The Weatherman was like a whole nother, because we interviewed in the past. We interviewed Breezy Bruin and interviewed Vast Air, and I know you and Vast Air had a project, right?
Yeah.
That was on your joint, yeah. And you know what I mean. And they were talking about all that too. That's crazy. I
saw Breeze just put out a new record a couple of days ago.
Yeah, shout out to Breeze, man. We did a show with him and Complex, Mr. Complex, and 9MM and shit, and it was dope. You know what I mean? And
9MM from Deuces is Wild.
Yeah, yes, you remember Deuces Wild. His name wasn't 9MM then. What was his name?
It was Ricochet and
Ricochet. Yeah.
And it's crazy. The guy just passed away. Tito was Ricochet. He just passed away not too long.
Really?
Yeah. Because me and 9 are close friends. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Really? Yeah. I'm like I'm the biggest Deuces Wild stan. I mean, I lived for their record. And I used to go up to Funkmaster Flex and go like, Deuces Wild, and he'd be like, nah, chill.
Yeah, Deuces Wild. Yeah, man. I'm just like stumped with the questions and shit. And
yeah. So Kev Brown, How did y'all choose Low Budget as a name and shit? Just what, broke brothers out there at the time? What? How did that come about?
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Yeah, that's pretty much where it came from. Like back when in the day, back in the, I was working a day job and at the J.C. Penney warehouse. Shout out to Jay, not even there no
Yeah,
more.
me too.
Yeah, went out here
but,
too. Yeah.
Word up.
I was a seasonal around Christmas time.
Yeah, man, work moving in pallets. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was working there and had my little equipment at home, and I was, that's back when it was real low budget. You know what I mean? So I used to like just jokingly just be like, "Hey, low budget productions on my joint," and I would let cats at my job hear it, and they was like, "You should use that for real." So I just kind of kept it, and then later on, the crew kind of developed. So it just kind of at a show one time, and I don't know if it was my management at the time or the promoter, but it was so many of us, I guess they didn't want to name each person. So they was just like low budget crew. And they just had a picture of us. So, it kind of just grew from there,
I got a question, Kev. So Ken Starr actually gave you the name the King of the Basslines, right?
Yeah.
And I heard on another interview that as far as you getting your inspiration for basslines is concerned, you got it from all the 70s records and all the, the bassists doing their thing in the background. So I'm wondering, was there like a particular bassist in those records that you were looking for the most?
Not really. It's real strange. It was just a thing. It was a normal thing. I don't know. I can't really. I didn't have a favorite bass. When I was listening, you just growing up listening to stuff, and it's just there. You know what I mean? It's like even with the Motown stuff, you don't know it, but it's like classical music because they throw in strings and stuff all in it. It's all types of unnecessary stuff they doing. It's already rocking, and then they just doing. Let me just add this on top to just make it. They slicing it up even more. And it's just when you start doing music, you kind of start. All them influences just start coming out anyway. To me, that's the way I kind of put it. You know what I mean?
So, Kev, what you using now?
I use the MPC Live now. That's what I've been using.
Oh, you did say that. Yeah, you did say that. You did say that. Yeah. Did you get to fuck with the one? You never got to fuck with it to see if you like it?
It looked dope. I looked at the YouTube videos and stuff. Every time the beat machine come out, I'd be like, "Oh, look it up." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got the one. The one is crazy.
Oh, you do got the one? Okay.
One is crazy.
You got that's the Voyager right there, Kid Cut. What is that right next to you on your what is that?
Oh, that's the I got like all like rolling joints.
Oh shit. I see the 808 over there, yo.
The 808.
Yeah.
Wurlitzer.
Yeah, I've seen the advance lighting up over there too.
One, yep. Got the one, the Moog, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Just that's that shit, man.
Yeah, that's all I saw was that keyboard. I'm like, okay, you just went and showed us other stuff. Yeah, like, that's original 808 you had from back then, or you just got
No. That's the boutique joint. The boutique joint is
when they came back out with it.
Yeah. This shit is dope, man. It's like the only thing that's it's very, very clean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it has like you could do a lot within it, you know what I'm saying? And the only greatest thing about it is that it doesn't come with the quarter inch noise in the back. You know how like the old one had like the hum and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the best thing about like fucking with this machine and like if you can get it, like I would get it. It's just like the original. You know what I mean? It just doesn't have any noise. And it's perfect.
I'm looking at the S2400 right now. I'm waiting for them to send it to me because I bought it last year and shit.
Okay.
You guys see the Isler Instruments? I don't know if you guys been watching that shit with ski beats.
Everybody getting busy on them except you.
I'm about to stop. I'm
Ski beat getting busy on it
with the old feeling with the new shit. You know what I mean? Like boom, and
Yeah.
That shit look dope, man.
Yeah, I try to like incorporate like a lot of like, cause I got like a Wurlitzer in the Moog, so I try to like incorporate all of that shit, cause I like a lot of the records that I fuck with is like psych shit too, right? So it's just like try to, you know, recreate like some of that like, you know, shit by playing like, you know, some funky shit on it. You know what I'm saying? And like the Wurlitzer is just like that Donny Hathaway shit. So it's just like you gotta have that one piece that you could actually like feel the warmth. You know what I'm saying? And you just like blend everything, whatever you could blend up and make it like authentic. You know what I mean? That's how I work, really.
Yo, let me ask all three y'all too. Who was? Let me go for first with you, K Cup. Who was your top 5 inspirational producers to make you want to make music?
Shit, man. I mean,
that makes K Cup.
Fuck, man. Like it would have to be the dudes that were doing it back then, man. I mean, fuck, man. Like Marley Marl, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, he's probably like number 1.
Yeah,
second one would probably be Paul C. You know what I'm saying? Actually, Paul C would be. Yeah, Paul C and Marley was like the dudes. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think any other person, you know what I mean, for me, was really doing it like those dudes. You know what I'm saying? Because they kind of like really changed the way the sampling game, you know, was heading. You know what I'm saying? Instead of like chopping up like you know the Oberheim shit, motherfuckers is like, all right, let me throw this shit through the SP12 and try to recreate shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's how like the sampling game really changed, where it was just like they were bringing out shit with James Brown loops and all type of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? And that pretty much changed like the way the fundamentals was working with hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And that gave a lot of other people like, oh shit, they chopped that. So let me see how I can flip this. You know what I'm saying? And it just gave us younger cats like back in the days, like more creativity to like create some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Kev, so, you know I'm coming at you after. But you know, go ahead. You said them 2?
Yeah, that was 2.
Yeah, man.
You can't get through it. I mean,
I'm able to cheat because you asked the question, and then I could sit here. I got my notepad out and started right now.
Okay, you want to come back thinking of the next 3? You can come back.
No, man. Like I stay with those 2, man, because those 2 are like you know, like I said, they reformed how hip hop and the direction of where hip hop, you know, was going, and where they elevated the shit. You know what I'm saying? And the shit, you know, is incredible, man. You know.
All right, Kev, what you got?
All right, I got way more than 5. All right, so I definitely got to put Pete. I got to definitely put Pete Rock up there because Pete Rock was, you know what I mean, crazy with it.
Yeah.
I was just listening to the Rockoleone joint, The Saga Begins, and what's the joint? Tom's Flow, the Rockoleone joint with the pianos, all that. Crazy.
Yeah, that beat's crazy, yo. That shit is crazy.
DJ Premier, of course, Gangstar and all that. Grew up with all that. Like talking about, K-Cup was talking about Jukebox Network. I remember watching your videos and like Gangstar and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I never paid for Jukebox because you could call it, and you know people got in trouble. Kids would get in trouble for like calling it, and because it was like 99 cents a video or something like that.
Yeah.
But you could sit back and watch when people bought videos. You could just turn to the channel and it would just play videos.
Yeah.
And like all that stuff. You know what I mean? Crazy, Uptown Kicking It, all that stuff used to play. You know what I mean? On the jukebox. I went down the rabbit hole, but we could just talk about Jukebox Network alone because it feel like only a few people know about that when you bring it up. You know, they'd be like the box, the New York joint, the Ralph McDaniel. No, not that joint. The cable channel joint. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some
that's when the cable
people, it'd be crickets. They don't know what you talking about. But anyway, when it first came out, it used to talk. It had the robot voice, like make your selection. You know what I mean? Like it would talk. Like, but
that's crazy.
Anyway, I digress.
Nah, man, you didn't.
RZA, yeah, RZA was definitely, but RZA definitely, definitely a super duper. You know what I mean? Coming home and my sister, it's a long story. My sister got the tape. You know what I mean? From Sam Goody. I'm under the covers with the headphones because you know you can't play that around family and stuff.
Yeah.
Bring for a song, bring the mother up and rock. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you said RZA,
EP.
RZA Premier,
Yeah, RZA.
RZA Premier.
And that, 1, 2, 3. I got EPMD on here. That's cheap because that's 2.
You know what's
but I got
crazy? This is what
EPMD
I
because he was
heard.
crazy.
This is what I heard. I heard that Paris Smith did the first 2 albums, and Eric Sermon did the second 2 albums and shit. This is what I heard. I didn't hear Eric Sermon didn't do the beginning production.
It might be true.
Correct? Am I wrong? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And I don't even know. Maybe you know what Paris Smith.
It could be true.
You know what I mean? But Eric Sermon, when the Hit Squad broke up, it's like when Main Source broke up. Like, the fuck, these dudes is right there, right now, and boom, like, yo.
Yeah.
Nothing was better than the Hit Squad at that time. Nobody, nothing. You know what I mean? And like, boom, and then
crazy.
It broke everybody's hearts. Like, what the fuck? PFD broke up.
Redman and everybody.
Yeah, man. Like, that whole
crazy.
K Solo, yo, you know what I mean? All that shit. So you got
crazy,
EP, so you got one more.
Yeah, definitely. I got I'm gonna just say this in one sentence. J Dilla, Tribe Called Quest, Hot Tech. And I'm gonna say J Dilla before he got popular. You know what I mean? Like quote unquote. You know what I mean? Like we was listening, cats like us was listening with like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean? Back before it was a craze. You know what I mean? Right.
Mighty My.
Let's see. Well, I'm born in 72, so
you're right near me. So
the generation of 83 to 93 is really like Larry Smith.
Yes.
Rick Rubin.
Yes.
Definitely Marley. Being from Philly, there was a cat named LG. He did like the Cool C and Steady B records. He was like. He was kind of like the Philly Molly Mall. Like he had Craig G signed and Roxanne Shante signed first.
You know what's crazy?
Was that the father of the Youngsters or something like that?
Yeah.
The Youngsters, yes.
His name's Lawrence Goodman.
Lawrence Goodman.
Yes.
Yo, that's crazy because, damn, I just blacked out. That's what you're just saying. Like, yo,
I got their first album. I used to buy all their albums. The Youngsters, they had joints.
Yeah, I was always wondering who I always wondered like who was good. They was on the East West label, right? That East West they had some joints too. Yo, East West had a lot of records too. You know what I mean?
What's that? Yeah,
Stretch was writing for him.
Yo, Tretch was the man. Yo, Tretch never gets the props he deserves. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Stretch.
The second album, they was singing like Naughty by Nature on that joint.
Hell yeah.
Did so much, you know what I mean? They should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They should be in all that shit too. You know what I mean? Because they made records and they made records, club records, and Tretch will come at you freestyling. And Tretch's whole style was a whole complete different. You know what I mean? But what I was saying, really, I didn't realize that Marley Marl did Get Physical on Steady B till like later on and shit. I didn't fucking know that shit. And I was like...
Yeah, there's this weird cross-pollination with LG, Lawrence Goodman, and Marley. Like, Shante and Craig G, they both did records for them. So, I think Marley obviously...
Marley connected that? Marley connected that? Or they connected that on their own? Because Marley was a connection, right?
Yeah. I think
Mr. Magic and all that shit, right? Rest in peace, Mr. Magic.
They were on Pop Art before.
Pop Art, yes. It was like a purple, light purple. Yeah.
It was brown. It was a brown label, like a brown tannish label.
Was it brown? I thought it was like
burgundy.
They were mixed, right there.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a dark color, like I remember.
Your copy might be old.
Mm-hmm.
You got one more. Who's the other one?
I'm gonna go West Coast. Not Dre though, DJ Pooh. I love the first King T album and the first Dell album, you know, and the Cube stuff. So
Yeah.
We did a couple interviews on Behind the Boards with Sir Jinx and shit. Like our last episode was Sir Jinx, Razcast, MC8, RBX, and Tash, and one more. Who else was there, Rocco?
You said RBX. He said Tash.
RBX, Sir Jinx, Tash, MC8, Razcast, and there was one more. Oh, D Qbert. Qbert was in there too, yo. Shout out to Qbert.
Dope.
Qbert being one of the dopest DJs on the planet, you know what I'm saying? Like, really. But Jazzy Jeff, to me, is hands down my favorite. Now, I'm going to K-Cut right now, and I want to know how this whole Nas shit happened up live at the barbecue, because I know you was there when that shit was recorded and shit. You know what I
mean? Again, like, it goes back to, like, when we were doing the album, you know, Large was basically bringing Nas around, you know what I'm saying? And Nas was always around us and shit, so you know, the label was like, yo, y'all got to do one more song. You know, there's not enough songs on the record. So we basically called in Nas, called in Akinelli and Fatal, you know what I mean? And then we went in the studio that one night and laid the shit down, man. And then we went back the next day to like touch it up. And that was just the last song for Breaking Atoms, man. That was it probably wouldn't have been if Stu Fine was like, yo, that all right, that's a wrap. We wouldn't have had Live at the Barbecue, but he was like, yeah, he was like, yo, y'all need one more song. So we're like, shit, all right, cool. So we just said, yo, y'all come in. It's your time right now. You know what I mean?
How did the I don't know if you want to call it the Set It Off. I don't know if the Live at the Barbecue Part 2 with Jadakiss and
it was
Sheik and was it Lotto and Ma Barker?
Yeah, Ma Barker. Yeah, it was one of those things where we're like, yo, well, we did it for, you know, we did Live at the Barbecue, so let's try to find like some cats that are real dope. You know what I'm saying? So we found, you know, Sheik and Jadakiss, you know what I'm saying, and they came out and we were just vibing with them, and it was just like, yo, we're gonna do another song, and it's gonna be like, you know, another, you know, posse kind of cut record, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, yo, we just gonna name the shit Set It Off, you know what I'm saying? And then we just used like the little intro that we did like at, you know, in Live at the Barbecue. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? To show that, yo, all right, who's coming up next? Like this might be some ill shit, you know what I'm saying? So that's why we did that, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's what it was, man. It's just like, yo, it's like who's got next, you know what I'm saying? Like you just find like the people that you rock with, man, that can rhyme, and that's just dope, man, that you want to put on, you know what I'm saying?
When you brought Sheik and Jadakiss, did Mike bring them or did you guys bring them and Mike met them then and shit? How did that happen?
I think it was, you know what, that shit was a long time ago. I wasn't responsible for finding them. It was Sir Scratch, and I think it was Mike that found them. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's the dudes that found them. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, once they found them, it was just like, all right, we're gonna do this. They actually helped like with us doing I believe it was what's that? What You Need. They helped. I think they helped do the hooks on that shit. You know what I'm saying? So they were over the crib a lot, man. Like they came out, you know what I mean, just to rock with us, man. So, you know, at one point it was just like, yo, these are the dudes right now, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, they were involved somewhat, like, you know, in doing the single and shit, I think, you know.
What's up?
From what I remember.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna ask you, do you think like when Large was producing records for Rakim and Cool G Rap, did that like step his lyricism up a whole thing, or was he like always real nice with it?
Large was always like crafty with the lyrics, meaning like I think he was ahead of the game in terms of the golden era. You know what I'm saying? On how to really lyrically like phrase things and how he would say things. And I think, yeah, of course, being with the God, like you gotta, you know, like that's, you know what I'm saying? You gotta like, all right, let me try to like, You
he
know,
was the youngin. He was the
yeah,
youngin.
exactly. So
Yeah,
so
Paul.
he learned, I think he learned a lot from Rod too, you know what I'm saying? So, and then also G, because he was always around them and he was in the studio with them. So I definitely think like, you know, they definitely, you know, put something in him where it's like, yo, this is how I got to do things. You know what I'm saying? So
You notice like a period where you were like, damn, man, like our demos are getting like real good. Like you're stepping up the,
I just thought Large had dope metaphors from the beginning, man. Like, you know what I mean? From thinking Adam, you know what I'm saying? Like he was always that dude that had the fucking ill metaphors, you know what I'm saying? And like, again, like I said, like just being around those dudes, just, it probably just enhanced it more, you know what I mean? Where it's like, all right, you know, rise like this, let me, you know, fuck around and, you know, put this the way I want to do it, you know what I'm saying? But I you know, I want to say they probably had some influences on, you know, on his vibes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You can't help that shit back then. You know what I'm saying? If you go to a show with them guys and you see how the crowd react to certain shit, you like, oh shit, like, or you in the studio too long with them, you just like, yeah, you gonna pick it.
Yo, you got admit though that at that time, Rakim and G Rap was like that time, like 90, 91 years, like, you know, you got Stretch and Redman coming and, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? You had Kane and, you know, KRS and, you know what I mean? But these Coogee Rap and Rakim, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, like these dudes right
or
here.
if they eating your ass up in a cypher, you just like, shit. I'm like, oh,
yeah, but the thing too, man, like, you know, back then it was just like, again, it was just like, because when we were coming in the game, it was just like, it was changing, right? So you still had like Rakim and G-Rap, but it was like the younger dudes. This is our turn now, you know what I'm saying? But you had to be slick with what you did though, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's where I think we championed the game in the 90s, because we just said, you know what, we're going to do our thing, you know what I'm saying? And our mentor back then, again, was Paul C. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of flipped it with the samples and like just like ill shit that we were bringing to the table kind of thing. You know what I mean? And again, like how Large, like he's just slick with the words, man. You know what I'm saying?
And what the scratches on the first album are also so unique. Like no one has done scratches like that before or after. You know what I mean? They definitely speak for themselves, almost like an instrument.
Yeah, I mean, with that too, it was just like, okay, well, there's two DJs. What are we gonna do? You know what I mean? So
like
we had to be able to,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we had to like kind of, you know, conceptualize like the whole two DJs and the MC thing, and we had to use that as like, yo, like the scratches and the cuts was just like we had to sing to the records. You know what I'm saying? And make them like, oh shit, like, you know, it works, you know what I mean? So everything, you know, that we did was like, it had to be a blend of some.
Like peace is not the word to play, is like the personification of that, you know? It's like,
thank you, man.
Yes, like
thank
that
you,
break
man.
on peace is just like, that's the brilliance coming together, you know?
Thank you, man. That was a lot of work too, man. But when we finished it, it was just like, wow, like, did I do this shit? Like, you know what I mean? You just step back and you're like, God damn, like this shit is incredible. Like you know what I mean? Like, and as a DJ, you're like, yo, this is some dope shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So you ain't never get up. You never got up with Casanova Ruz, Super Lover C now?
Nah, man. Like it's funny because it's like we've always been in that same circle, like in the circle, in that same, we all, put it this way, we all were cut from that same Paul C cloth. You know what I'm saying? So whether, you know, we were in the same room or we were not in the same room, that's the family. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like always love and respect, man. And we, it's like with any one of the people that work with Paul C, we always like, yo, we got to support, you know what I'm saying? Like, even like Organized Confusion, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's all family, you know what I mean?
Ultramagnetic too, right? Was it Ultramagnetic?
Yep, Ultra too, you know what I'm saying?
And Organized, you said Organized Confusion. Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy.
You know
So
what I mean?
let me ask one question right now about the Paul C situation.
Mm-hmm.
Did Large Professor connect the Rakim Paul C connection and shit for Paul C to do production for for Rakim?
What I had heard was Joe Fatal, right? Fatal was the dude that had like, he was the man on the streets. So he knew G, he knew Ra and Eric, and basically he connected large with them. So when, you know what I mean, like, you know, I think from the story that I know is that when Paul C passed away, it was just like, yo, Ra, yo, this dude is the dude right here. He has a lot of Paul C's, like, you know, same records, and, you know, he was with Paul C, so he know how to, you know, hook the shit up. So I think they took a meeting, and from there it was just like, yo, Ra just gravitated to large, and that's how, you know, that whole connection, you know, became what it was. You know what I mean?
Yo, what's up with Sir Scratch today? Is he still doing music? Or?
Yo, Scratch is good, man. Like, he's on some other shit right now, man. He's just doing his own thing, man, in terms of like doing commercials and all of that shit, and just like, you know what I mean? Other than like, you know, being like in the mix of things, you know what I'm saying?
Who's the bigger brother, the little brother?
He going where the money at.
He's the older brother. Yeah, he's the older one, man.
All right.
You know, but I've always been that dude that I've always been on the streets, man. So like, you know, I've always been like around like Tip and Buster and Large, and you know what I mean? So Sir Scratch was never that dude like to do the things that we did, like Record Shop and Dig. He was the dude that's like, you know, he does other shit, you know what I'm saying? But that's why I've always like stayed connected to all of these other dudes, and they see me out, and it's just like, because I'm always around them, you know what I'm saying? So that's what always kept me like more or less in the public, because I'm that dude to be out there and be around all these cats as well, you know what I mean?
So when you guys used to do the main source shows,
Mm-hmm.
they would have to have 2 sets of turntables every time when they did the show.
Definitely.
That's dope. Like, I know that Dougie was doing that shit with the Get Fresh crew with
Mm-hmm.
Chill Will and Barry B. You know what I mean? That shit is dope. Like, that shit. You know what I mean? That's dope. You guys
Yeah, that's a whole different experience, man. You know what I mean?
guys ever did a set with each other? Now that Scratch does this set, did you guys do a set together where you guys did something together when you did it?
We played around a bit in terms of trying to do sets and stuff like that. I mean, like, it would be like when we did shows back in the 90s, it would be like, all right, Scratch is going to put on, you know, maybe one song, then I put on the next song, then he'll probably add cuts to, you know, one song, and then I'll do the same thing, you know what I mean? And when we did the reunion, I kind of did it like that too, like where, you know, like we would just play off of each other kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? So it just kept everything moving. Like, you know, it's just like, it's nothing is stopping. It's just consistently moving like a fucking movie, you know what I mean? And you're everything's reanimated, you know what I mean? So that's how we kind of like, you know, keep things. But then, you know, when I went out with Large myself, you know what I mean? And we did Europe, it was just me. So I was just trying to be very, very creative on how, you know, I do things, you know what I'm saying? So I would cut up like maybe the original Chicka Boom Boom Boom, the Pazant Brothers, you know what I'm saying? And then like throw in like the actual record kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you just gotta be like very, you know, creative when you're doing stuff like that to get people open. And then, you know, what I would do as well is like open up with like a DJ set, like just cutting like 90s shit. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know what I mean? And
get the crowd open before,
so I kind of like, you know, kind of came out with like, oh shit, who's on stage? And then when I pull off my hat, it's like, oh shit, that's K-Cut DJing. And then I would fuck the crowd up, and they would be like, oh shit. And then after that, I would stop, and then we start the show. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
hip hop right there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So you got to surprise people, like, you know, and just, you got to get them amped up however which way you got to amp them up, you know what I'm saying? To enjoy shit, man. But to see like me doing a live set, you know, because people never see me actually DJ, you know what I mean, and rock it like a club and then turn it into a main source show. You know what I'm saying? That's some next shit right there. So yeah, we've been doing that. Yeah, we've been doing that in Europe, and people were loving it, man. So, you know what I mean? So yeah, man. I'm just trying to be really creative.
Bastard?
Huh?
You know Scratch Bastard?
Of course, that's my dude, man.
Yeah, he's incredible, huh?
Scratch is crazy, man. He actually sent me out a couple of his jerk seasoning. You know what I mean? Because
he's such a good guy. He spun at the club in Vegas last year. He's ill.
Oh, he's ill. He's incredible, man.
Yeah.
He's incredible. You got to come out to Toronto when he does the barbecues, man.
Yeah,
The barbecue is out of control.
that's what I hear.
So,
Yeah.
I love Toronto, man.
are you
I haven't
originally?
been out since I was like 16, 17, but I loved it when I was.
Y'all got to come out, man. Toronto's.
Nah, we
Toronto's-
have to come out there, yo. I mean to cut everything off. I'm gonna ask you: are you originally from Canada?
I was all right. A lot of people asking that question. Funny thing, I was born in Toronto, 1971. Left Toronto, Canada, when I was like 3 years old. Grew up in Corona, Queens. You know what I'm saying? So
that's how that
like,
works. Okay.
yeah, that's how that worked. So I left New York when I was like, when the group officially broke up, and I wasn't even doing records, with Main Source, and that was after like the Fuck What You Think album and What You Need. So that was like, I came back to Toronto like in '95. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And basically what happened was I was like, yo, this is gonna be home now. And then I kept going back and forth because I was doing projects and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I officially didn't go back to New York like like I want to say 2000. I stayed in Toronto. You know what I mean? So yeah, man.
Talking about how did that whole brand new heavies fucking happen? Remember that? Right? That shit was.
Yep. That was the shit, man. It's funny because when they put out their first album, it was like, yo, who's this group? Like everybody was like on the brand new heavies. Then they decided to do like, yo, we want the best, groups to appear on this new record we want to do. So we got the call, you know what I mean? And they were like, yo, we want Main Source to be on this record. And basically they had different tracks that they picked out for each group. And each group had to go in the studio, and basically you could do whatever you wanted to do with the record. You could change it around and flip it. So they gave us that song Bonafide Funk, and we put our touches on it. You know what I'm saying? And then we gave it back, and they were loving it, man. So that's how that worked out.
Oh, yo, Kev, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm here. This story's crazy.
I want a question for Mighty Mind shit. Why we never got a Weatherman album and shit, man? Yeah, for real.
We put out like a mixtape kind of. We put it in the stores and everything, and it did well. And then, you're dealing with a lot of different artists, and I can't even remember what happened really.
Would
There
you ever?
was supposed
Would you
to be a
ever run
lot
a
of
label
cats on
again?
there,
Would you ever run a label again or nah?
Nah, the label's always the bad guy, right?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
For some reason, it's always the guy who's, but it's kind of like America. Like you always hate like the guy who's giving you the check, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how we're set up in America. But we had like a good deal. We had a 50-50 deal with all the artists and still accounting to them. So that's cool.
You got a lot of records left over from it, or?
Not really.
yeah, so it's no inspiration to do the label thing again, huh?
Not really.
Well, you got a residency out in Vegas. Fuck everything else.
Nah, it's a wrap out here, man. I'm probably gonna come back to New York.
You don't think it's gonna come back? You don't think everything's gonna go back to normal? You could DJ again. You got the black thing, and you don't think it's gonna be weird.
You can't leave all that money for Pauly D out there, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't.
It's too late for us 1972ers to be in the club,
Never too late.
Yeah. We still out there, bro.
Yo, Jeff is out there DJing and killing it right now. DJ Jazzy Jeff, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's never too late, man. It's just you just gotta like do you and be the best.
Stay
that you can
healthy,
be.
most of
Yeah,
all.
stay healthy, definitely.
That's
You know
what I do. I play tennis, man. That's my main thing right now.
Oh, that's
There you
what's up.
go.
That's why
There
I
you
couldn't
go.
get him on a Friday show. He's like, I'm playing tennis, bro.
No. Guess what?
He's
I'm not
actually-
mad
he's
at you, man.
actually
Because
3
when I
hours
was like
earlier.
14, yo, that's all I used to watch was tennis, man. John McEnroe, you know what I'm saying? Michael Chang, or all that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Trust me, man. That was my shit.
Yeah.
Yo, tennis is the
Wait,
Collect
waiting
all that
for John
vintage
McEnroe.
80s tennis shit.
Hell yeah.
I
Tennis
collected
is-
all that
Waiting for
Ivan
John
Lendl,
McEnroe to flip
all
out.
that.
Tennis is a lot of cardio. That you
Oh.
definitely you staying healthy, no doubt.
It's
Let's
an underrated cardio sport. You're right.
Yo, tennis, let me tell you something, man. Back in the schoolyards, man, when I was going to high school, we used to play handball. You know what I'm saying? Like, you remember handball, y'all, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's like that. Basically, that was like a ghetto tennis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all the calls were the same as tennis, man. You know what I'm saying? That was the shit. The ghetto tennis, man. You have a racket, you had your hand. Bam, 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 bam. You know what I'm saying? So that
Play
was
out
the
here,
shit.
but it's hot out
You
here.
needed
It's so hot.
a ball in a wall.
Yep. Ball in the wall. And
Yo,
it's
I got-
funny because you in New York, you would see these big, tall fucking walls and shit, and there'll be like 20 people on the fucking wall playing handball.
New Yorkers kill handball.
Oh, fuck.
That's the New York sport right there, bro.
Yep.
Oh,
Man.
Yo, I got a question for Kev. Well, actually, a couple of questions. Well, I'm not sure how you're gonna answer them, but
Okay.
yo, the meetups with first off, the meetup with Grap, man. How'd you come about that?
Okay. Meeting with Grap. I met Grap at University of Maryland radio station. Back 1,000 years ago. I can't remember when, but it was at I met a lot of people they had a hip hop show at the University of Maryland radio. I used to work there at a certain time. And I went to a MC battle, and a cat was passing out flyers and stuff for the University of Maryland radio. So I was like, what? And I went there, and come to find out, every Friday they would have hip hop shows, multiple hip hop shows, and I met a lot of people up there. DJ Kenwood and DJ Marshall Law, a lot of low budget crew cats. Grap Lover definitely was one of the people I met up there. It was crazy. Remember, you know what I mean? Like, oh snap, you know what I mean? Like, you walk in the, because it's an itty bitty, it's college radio, so it's a small room, and you walk in the room like, oh snap, you know what I mean? It's super hip hop. Oh, yeah, that's where I met Grap at. Word up.
you almost sound like Pete Rock, Kenneth.
Same mannerisms and everything, man.
Yo, Kev, Pete Rock, Knife Wonder, they just got that fucking voice. Like, yo, they don't even have to fucking, like, you know how, like, Kane and them run fast? All they gotta do is just rap. And
Man, that's that festering soul, man.
Shout out to my
That's
dad.
that
hip-hop voice and shit.
that's that deep soul, man.
That's that Barry White, the Barry White is hip hop shit.
Yeah.
Word up.
I can imagine you
Yeah.
sick waking up in the morning. You probably bass the fuck out the phone. I don't know.
Joking,
He's,
baby.
he's actually
man.
using the plugin.
And
Right?
and I know
I got the bass turned up.
yeah, and low budget is pretty much and low budget, they're definitely, you guys are definitely known for bringing out at least the underground side of hip hop in DC. So we definitely applaud you for that. My next question is, how'd you get the meet up with Fonte for I Do What I Do?
Man, Fonte, that was another Grap hookup. I heard their album was buzzing crazy. Jazzy Jeff gave me a copy. I don't mean to name drop and stuff, but Jazzy Jeff gave me a copy of the Little Brother album, like way before like a year before maybe it came out or something. And so I was going back and forth from Maryland to Philly
Was it
listening
like
to
the chilling circuit or was it?
no, it was their first album, The Listening.
Yeah.
It was a CD burn with no cover. You know what I mean? I was like,
Oh,
who these dudes? I remember I walked in the studio and Jeff was playing the album. Like, yo, check this out. And we was tripping off it way before it came out. Like, yo, this is crazy. Um, and they you know, we was back then we was trying to figure out like, yo, he used an SP1200, he using the MPC. Come to find out he using a computer. You know what I mean? Back then.
Wow.
But to skip to the Fonte, like come to find out, you know, they was buzzing crazy hard, pause, in the underground, right? So at the same time, Jazzy Jeff knew about him, Pete Rock knew about him. You know, they had went over Pete Rock's house, and Grap Lover happened to be over Pete's. You know, they brothers, so he happened to be over there, and that's how they met, I guess. And they kept contact. Come to find out, Fonte got family like across the street, basically from my mom's house. So he would come down on a regular basis, and you know, one time around New Year's, Grap, you know, introduced me to him. He came over and you know what I mean? Boom, boom, boom. I think we actually did a song that day. That's the song that came out. It's on the B side of the Always joint, I think. And people always call it Vibes, the bootleggers, but it's not called Vibe. It's called I can't remember what it's called right now. But they got Grap Lover and Fonte on it. And that's from that. We just kept contact, you know what I mean? And then, like I said before, he had family down here, so he had came to visit, and he was like, "Yo, I heard you was working on a solo album. I'm trying to kick a verse on that joint. Let me kick a verse." I was like, at the time, I ain't have, you know what I mean? I didn't have a beat, you know what I mean? Like the beat. So he rapped over a beat, but the beat that he rapped over is not the beat on the album. But you know, so and it's funny, he says I kicked 16 of them out. He actually kicked like 24 bars. He's rapping on that joint. So but
Jesus.
yeah, that's how you know what I mean, that's how he got on the album, because he was like, yo, we was running the same circles, and he heard I was working on the album. He was like, yo, I'm gonna be on that joint.
That's dope. That's
Came
dope.
over,
That's
came
dope.
over.
So,
Yeah.
did you ever try to get? I was gonna say, did you ever try to get Big Pooh to come in on that joint too?
You know what? I should have, but it just doesn't. You know, if he'd have been with Fonte at the time, we all did some drunk. You know what I mean? But it
Do what
just,
you do, you don't force it. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it just, you know,
that's
it
how all
just
the
it
dope music
wasn't
come
happening.
out, anyways. You know what I mean? It just happens and shit. Like yo, you know.
Yeah, I guess if I was like me,
Right.
or if the record label or my manager or somebody was political, but like, yo, you should get them both because they hot, blah, 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 like, you know what I mean? But it just, you know what I mean? Me, silly Kev, it's like, oh, this tight. I wasn't even expecting Fonte to be on it. So I was like, all right, you know what I mean?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, let management get them and let your side of it be organic. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
It's like how Stress is to me. He's the A&R to me MC, and he'll find all my features. And
Yeah, it's
I
nice to
don't
have
ask
that.
I
nobody
mean,
to be
if I could reach to him, you know what I mean? Sometimes,
on.
but like, you know, I don't like.
Yo, if I could get such and such, I'd be like, okay, I don't care, whatever.
Yeah, that was like relationships because you know what I mean. Because I don't like to like. I mean, I ask y'all to do this, but this is like something for us all together. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, I didn't know you guys didn't know y'all was gonna see each other in here when you came in here, and that's how we do it. We surprise y'all. I'm just hoping I'll do this one time and two people are beefing and I didn't know about it and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh man.
It hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? So,
it'd be nice if we could ambassador the peace treaty too. So
yeah, no, but bring it.
Ooh, let's not go that far.
Fuck Stress. Well, hopefully it's never that.
No, but
Sometimes it's best to mind your own business.
my whole mind frame of doing this was to bring brothers back. I mean, I tried to get K Cut in a bunch of joints where there was other DJs where you know what I mean, where we had the last one was Qbert, Rob Swift, and Chumzilla, and my man J1 and Lord Jazz was supposed to be in there from Lords of the Underground, and I tried to get Kev and the one where we had the interview with OC, Rex, Mike Geronimo, and Blackistan and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like boom, but we're gonna do more in the future. And I wanted to get Mighty Mind and DJ one too. And in the future, I want to get y'all in ones in the future. So, you know, in the future, you're going to pop and you never know who you're going to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Because we do this for the culture. You know what I mean? We're really the Producer's Corner. And what we do on the Producer's Corner, this is our 3rd year anniversary just passed. We do it on Facebook. We post an album or a song every week on the Facebook, and producers all around the world. That's where you got Soul City and Sparkz make beats off it. And then every Saturday we do a show where I play all their beats, and the winner picks the top. If it's 50, top 5, 60, top 6. We've been doing it. It's our 158th week doing it. You know what I'm saying? Then I was like, let me do a behind the boards now too, where we can talk to the artists, you know what I'm saying? Like, boom, it's another thing for the Producer's Corner, you know what I'm saying? Like, the behind the boards is another Producer Corner link, you know what I mean? Like, I like to send y'all brothers Producer Corner shirts, and all I ask for y'all do is just, like, take a picture with it on and, like, show people, like, we're all one with this, you know what I'm saying? Like, love is love.
I wear size large. Let me get one.
Yeah. Y'all brothers just hit me up, you know what I mean? Like, boom, man.
Yeah, give y'all sizes, man.
Because
I'll give you one, Kev.
we just had the 30th anniversary of my house Saturday, and Al Scratch from Ill and Al Scratch was here and shit, and it was dope chilling with him and shit. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Where my homies, that was big record.
Classic joints, yeah.
Look her up and down, said,
Jane by EPMD. How can you hate it?
Yep.
Crazy. Yeah, the joint with Brian McKnight. That joint was rocking.
Yeah, man.
Brian McKnight in the video with him, like, wow.
Last year, our 100th episode, Elder Sensei and Mikey D was there. You know what I'm saying? And then the year before, 9MM was there. You know what I mean? So we like to see y'all, and maybe in the future when this whole shit gone next year, y'all come. I'm in Connecticut. You know what I mean? Canada. I mean, you in Vegas, unless you go back to New York, like you said. My shit. You're in Maryland, right, Kev? Are you in DC?
Yo, Milo, like I said, I miss Vegas, man. If I knew you out there from now on, checking for you. Me and my wife come out there. We probably would have been out there this year. You know what I'm saying? We were supposed to get married in September, so my bachelor party would have probably been in Vegas.
Oh shit.
Nah, but what we try to do is we try to build with everybody, you know what I mean? Because the culture, I know this whole 2020 and racism bullshit is going. When it comes to hip hop, there's no fucking racism. You know what I'm saying? That's why they got to understand that this culture is a lot bigger than everything else. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? And that brings everybody together. So if there was a civil war, the whole hip hop's going to be on the fucking Black Lives Matter fucking side and shit. You know what I mean? Because like, boom, because that's where hip hop, you know what I mean? That's hip hop. That's where it came from. You know what I'm saying?
I'm starting to understand there's a lot of motherfuckers hiding inside of hip hop too. So you can't actually.
Oh yeah. I mean, even the greats, even the legends, but
there's a lot of motherfuckers hiding inside it. We all accept each other, but motherfuckers still coming with their whole inside and shit.
Culture's a whole understanding of independency from the beginning and shit. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do what the fuck I do, and you're gonna like it or not. You know what I mean? That's independent hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, yo. And we, you know what I mean? And shout out to Kool Herc, you know, Africa Bambaataa. I know his situation, but shout out to him for what he did for at that time, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, but that shit was all built for love and family to come together, and that's all that was supposed to matter. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes people use this and still infiltrate and do what they gotta do to further what their agenda is through hip hop.
We know what. You know, growing up and you seeing what people did. I mean, y'all, for instance, Main Source or like EPMD or Gangstar taught us like, yo, this is what you do, the crossover. You don't, you know what I mean? You do what you do. You know what I mean? And you what you do. What it's really, it does whatever you do yourself and what you love, nothing else matters and shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't. You know what I mean? I don't have
to what I do. A song called The Crossover, talking about not crossing over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Large said it on that Brand New Heavies record, man. Cruise crossover, but not Main Source. You know what I'm saying? Like we always stuck to like the real shit, man. And that's like just making music, man, and doing, you know, sticking to the art, man. It's all an art, man. You know
It is an art, you know what I mean? And it's just like the same thing with Mighty Mai. Like you said, the house music, it doesn't matter. The house music has the art, just like the R&B has the art in the fucking hip hop and the rock and roll.
Music.
The art of the love of the fucking culture.
Let me tell you something. A lot of the dudes, like Tribe and all of them dudes, like we were all like house heads, man. Fast Eddie and all of that shit, man. Like New York City had like
Baby
Red
band
Zone and all of that, man. We came up on that house shit, man. So
I like to go out and dance.
Yeah,
brothers.
That was our shit, bro.
I like clubhouse music. The whole choral. I like that shit. You know what I mean? I grew up on that shit because I was a breaker. I was a breaker before I was everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I was
Jack
with
and Body, all that shit, man.
The early 80s.
That don't mean that's the type of music that you do, but at the same time, it was
no. It's just it like as a kid growing up, you know what I'm saying? And that was like the new wave, you know what I'm saying? For when we were growing up, house music, you know what I'm saying? And it was just like, okay, so out of house music, you had like MCs that were still like, you know what I mean? Like sitting in like, you know, doing their things and everything like that. But a lot of groups were like, yo, house music, that was our shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially for New York City time, like that was growing up in New York City. That was the biggest shit ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Mighty Mike, what part of New York? You're from Philly, right?
Yeah.
You're from Philly, so you grew up in, okay, so you.
But then I lived in New York for like 15 years, from like 1994 to 2009-ish. And I came out here.
What part of New York?
Like 65th and Lexington.
Oh, you was in Manhattan, okay.
That's Manhattan.
Yeah, that's what Sparkz is from Manhattan and shit. So yeah.
And I am an infant in this group.
So Milo, you don't have any favorite Philly rappers right now?
Right now?
Black Thought is number one to me. I don't care what anybody. But yo,
that's what you're saying?
Hey, don't put let him answer for a second.
Yeah.
Besides Black Thought.
Fucking Steady B was dope. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Philly is ill with the rapping, so
the DJs too. Don't fucking sleep on the Philadelphia DJs and shit.
I think I tweeted like a couple of years ago my top 20 Philly rappers, and I didn't have Black Thought #1, and Mike Rappaport retweeted it, and I was getting hate for like weeks for it. Weeks.
What's your number one?
I think I put EST #1.
Got the EST 3 times dope, man. We're like, yo.
Right? Mike Rappaport cannot say anything to you as far as hip hop.
Yo, Mike Rappaport, for him to do that tells you that Mighty Mike is a somebody and shit. Cause Mike Rappaport, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Like, yo.
Mike Rappaport has nothing to say to you as far as hip hop is concerned.
No, he was in one of our videos, so.
He was in that Sean Price video too. When he packed with that first video. What was it called?
Got some valid shit to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, Mike, he's gonna be who he is, man. He's hip hop in his own way. You know what I mean? But yo, EST. So what was Black Thought #2?
I think I had him like #4.
All right, who's number 2 and 3? I need to know who's number 2 and 3.
I think I had Will Smith #2 and Schoolie D #3.
Yo, shout out to Schoolie D. I've been to Schoolie D's crib a long time ago. And shout out to Schoolie D, man. Like,
was Meek on the list?
Oh, that was another thing. I had Meek like way down the list, and like that's where all the hate was coming from. Meek fans.
Wow.
Really?
Steady B at? Because remember, Steady B.
Oh my God.
Where was Steady B at?
I had Steady B in the top 10 somewhere.
Okay.
Where was Kwame at?
He's not from Philly.
He's not from Philly.
Queens. Kwame, right?
Kwame's from Queens?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's from New York.
Oh, shit. Now, I see, I learned some new shit. Damn. Where was Beanie at?
Beanie was up there.
Where's Freeway?
He was up there.
Wasn't Cassidy from Philly too, or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Philly rappers.
Philly though, man. I forgot one more question for you, Kev. Where was that? How'd you get that hookup with Jazzy Jeff?
Jazzy Jeff.
Jeff, man.
Jeez, that was from a CD. Speaking of Grap, all the a lot of early stuff was Grap and like stuff falling into place. Here's a
Wow.
story. Grap, he knew somebody. He went to high school with somebody at Hidden Beats Records. It was like an A&R or
Mhm.
something, but I can't remember. Or one of the artists. You know what? It was one of the artists, Mike Phillips. He played the saxophone or something. He's still around. He will hold the note long and walk around the whole stadium and walk around everybody and then go back to hitting it. He's still around. The inverted breathing thing, he would hit that. You know what I mean? But I think they went to high school together, and he was working on the album, and he had hit up Grap like, "Yo, send me some beats." You know what I mean? And Grap, being usual insecure Grap he is, he was like, "I ain't gonna send him no beats." He was like, here's the address. You send him some beats. So I was like, all right. I had just made a beat tape. I just got the MP. Had it about a year or whatever, and put some beats together on it. Sent the CD out. Literally on the CD, it said, "Grap told me to send y'all some joints." Bow, and sent it off. And a couple of weeks later, I got a phone call. You know what I mean? Back, and a lot of stuff happened. And then I went up to Philly. Long story short, Jill Scott's manager at the time got a copy of the CD or something. Come to find out, they was listening to it on tour and stuff. I didn't know all this stuff at the time. But I got invited to come up to Philly with Jazzy Jeff. I didn't think it was real at first. Somebody left a message on my answer machine. You know what I mean? I was like, after I got off work from the JCPenney warehouse, mind you, and was like, you checking your messages, and somebody like, "Yo, blah 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 blah, work with Jazzy Jeff. We want you to come to Philly." I was like, yeah, right. You know what I mean? It didn't even, you know what I mean? I just disregarded it. And then they left another message.
Yeah.
So I called them back or whatever and was like, okay, da 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 da. And then went to meet them. I was like, if nothing else happened, I had the parents just don't understand 12-inch vinyl. I was like, I'm gonna get this
I
joint
got that
autographed.
too. It wasn't even on Jive and shit. My shit was like, I forgot what the record was. A light blue. What was the name of that label? What was the name of it? I know you know him.
Well, Word Up or some shit.
The cover I had, it was like a yellow. The background was yellow, and there was like a scene from the video. You know what I mean? Like where his mom had the curlers.
I think when they was putting out their first joints.
No,
like
I'm thinking the Girls Ain't Nothing But Trouble. That's what I'm thinking of. Yo, what was that on?
Yeah, the one Kev's talking about has live at Union Square on the B side.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was Word Up.
Tell me, you guys are DJ. When Jazzy Jeff did the what was the single? What was the single that the Touch of Jazz was the single, and it had the Fresh on that shit. And that Fresh I used to cut. And you remember Jazzy Jeff used to cut his shit on that. I don't remember the name of the record. I'm gonna go fucking
Brand New Funk.
Was it Brand New Funk? This was the first album. It was the first album. It wasn't the second album.
Was it Brand New? It was
Fresh. And then it had
everything.
When he first introduced the Transform, he introduced the Transform.
Magnificent.
The Magnificent. Yo, I don't know how many times I took that Fresh and I fucked with it and scratched it.
Speaking of the Magnificent, go on, Kev.
That was UTFO, right?
Yo, I was watching an interview with when they're talking about. Remember? Do you guys remember talking about UTFO, Mix Master Ice? He always would wear the ninja shit, and he'd be in the picture and shit. You never knew what he looked like and shit.
He was nice.
Right.
That shit, yo, he was like one of the dopest DJs first. You know what I'm saying? Like doing that scratching shit. Like, what was that, 1980, 80 what, 87? 80 what, 85?
85.
Yeah. Before that. Yep.
Yo, Mix Master Ice, yo, like he was that dude you were talking. Him and then when Cut Creator first came out, Cool J, all that shit, like, yo, you like, this dude nice too, like, yo. And then here comes Philly with all of them coming. Tap
Money, Cash Money.
Yeah, you're like,
LL's another group that had two DJs.
Which one?
LL's another guy who had two DJs.
Was that Bobcat and Cut Creator? Yep, like, yo.
That live show was nice.
But
so
Dougie was the first, right?
Well, they were around the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yep.
So So Kev, yo, when you got that placement for the Magnificent album, so was Jazz like on some I'm on some DC shit now. Let me go check out these other DC artists.
Yeah, I think it just was. I think it was just a door open kind of thing. I brought a lot of people with me. We, cats used to come up on weekends. Cy Young, Raheem,
Yep.
Raheem, Cy Young brought Raheem with him. They was boys. We all knew each other from back home. Um, with the Magnificent stuff, it was crazy because he was it was a crazy time, positive in a good way. Because I was new up there, and just a studio environment, and being because I was used to making beats at home at my mom's house with my equipment and stuff, and just being in a real studio the first time and actually working in the studio. And I remember one time me and Cy Young, Cy Young came up the weekend, and Sean Stockman walking from Boys to Men, you know what I mean? Like crazy. Like
Shit, damn.
he said he would, it's like he came earlier and was listening to beats, and then he was like, yo, I'm gonna go play basketball or whatever and come back. And I was in my mind, I was like, yeah, right. He ain't coming back. Like Rich, he got a gold chain around his neck. He balling. He ain't coming back. He busy. Star and shit. You know what I mean? So, but then sure enough, me and Cy Young kicking it at the studio, blah, 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 strolling through the door. Sean said, hey, what's up, man? Well, oh, what y'all working on? Let me get on the joint. Crazy. You know what I mean? But that was a Jazzy Jeff relationship. That's all Philly, Boys to Men. And of course, super hip hop. Jeff is super connected. So all of that stuff, the Biz Markie and all of that stuff, it came from being that touch of jazz. And the Magnificent, it just so happened, Beat Generation, classic, the Jay Dilla, Welcome to Detroit, Pete Rock had the Peace instrumentals, you know what I mean? And it was, they had hit up Jeff for his turn to do one, wow. And it just so happened that, it was, the timing was right. And we would work on songs and let him hear them, and he'd be like, "Yep, I want to use this," and then he would put scratches on them. You know what I mean? And he would mix them. You know what I mean? But he gave us creative freedom to just do whatever. You know what I mean? That's how Raheem he would come up, him and Raheem do a song. That's how he got Raheem. Like he got him on there with solo stuff, and then later, as you see, Raheem got a record deal and stuff. You know what I mean? That's not a coincidence that these chain events happen, you know what I mean? And things like that. Odyssey's on there, you know what I mean? Like, so Odyssey gave me a CD,
man.
a
So
joint,
wait a minute.
and boom, boom, boom. I let Jeff hear it, and then Jeff was like, I want this song. And then next thing you know, Odyssey coming up and tracking the joint out with his ASR X, you know what I mean? And we tracking it out, boom.
So I didn't know that Odyssey was on that joint. So all the DC cast, it was you, Odyssey, it was Kenwood, it was Raheem, it was
yeah. Well, Kenwood is
from
Long Island, New York. Kenwood is from Long Island, New York, but he went to school and at the University of Maryland, so you could just throw him in there too. So.
Oh.
Cy Young.
So
Cy Young is from New York also, but they all kind of transplanted down, so they count too.
Oh shit, that's crazy.
Okay. So this, I mean, really the Magnificent album was pretty much the pop off the underground of hip hop in DC.
Damn. I ain't even I don't know if I could take that title. I don't know. Because there's plenty of, Azurul and cats is down here doing their thing. But it's,
Yeah, that's right. I figured.
I ain't trying to I don't know. I ain't trying to run with that one. We might have to consult the Jedi Council one time and find out.
There's a lot of types going down in DC.
Let me get a crazy. I'm gonna ask each one of y'all a crazy studio story. Fucking like, yo, that you ever told like cut and boom first take cut. I need a crazy studio story. When you was recording Breaking Atoms, what was a crazy studio story?
We were doing shit, man. There's a couple, man. I mean, I'm gonna just tell you one. I don't think it was crazy, but it was just like, having like Juju from the Beat Nuts and doing background vocals. you know what I mean, on you know, overdubs on the songs and stuff. Like we had him in there. We were doing like he's got so much soul, and you know, and Snake Eyes and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And just like having fun with like good people, like, you know what I mean, that are, you know, considered like a part of the culture. You know what I mean? In the history of hip hop. You know what I mean? And that was, I mean, that's like some cool shit. You know what I mean? To me, you know, and seeing like after we did the album and then the Beat Nuts came out and what they've done. You know what I'm saying? And also, you know, just having like, you know, Gangstar around, like, you know what I'm saying, Premier and Guru, like, you know what I mean, those are like the best things, you know, you can ever, you know, think back and say, wow, this is like so crazy that, you know, these were our friends. And you know what I'm saying, even Nas, like, you know what I'm saying, like it's something that's a memory, you know, and something that will always be, you know, embedded in my brain, like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's one of those, like, fuck, man, like, this is incredible, man. Like, it's one of those things that you just gotta, like, take with you, and it's like, fuck, man, we actually created something, and we did it our way, and we did it when we were kids, and we did it having fun doing it. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope. Yo, Kev, what you got? I know you got a studio story, man.
Not really. I don't have a lot of crazy and then niggas broke guns out. I don't have no stories or nothing like that.
Not like that. No, not like that. Like what that you remember, like how you might have learned off of, like he just said, like K Cut just said, like.
Well, this, like I said earlier, just being at a touch of jazz. Early on, you know, a lot of stuff. It was funny because it was a mix, because I was recording stuff at home with the 4-track and stuff, and I learned a lot of stuff with that. I remember even going over Sean Bourne's house. He had recording equipment, and he was punching in. I was like, "What's that?" You know what I mean? What's punching in? I don't know how to punch in. And I would just kick my raps all the way through and hope I don't mess up. You know what I mean? And if you mess up, you do it all over again. But like he would get to a point, mess up, and rap along with it and punch it. Oh, crazy. So all of that stuff, like little stuff like that, helped when I got the touch of jazz and like learning MIDI. And like even with Sean Bourne also, he showed me how to MIDI up. He had his rolling track machine hooked up to his MPC. He had an MPC 2000. And when he hit play on the rolling, the MPC would play. And I was like, yo, it's all synced up. What? You can run it back and forward and it would catch wherever. Oh, show me how to do that. Wow. You know what I mean? And then like certain stuff like that at Touch of Jazz, it was like, bow. You know what I mean? Okay. So instead of like jumping in with the sharks that all know everything, at least I knew a little bit of technical stuff, you know, even though I didn't know I knew it. That was stuff that people use kind of every day in the studio. So it was like, oh, okay, I can. And then from being at Touch of Jazz, using the real big board, the O2R, and using the real studio mic, like, wow, like Avalon compressors and all the high quality stuff, and the big speakers with the chain hanging off the ceiling, and you know what I mean? They got the little speaker, the little tiny speakers up here. You got to mix on these, but then you put the big speakers up here. You don't blow the speakers. That was the whole thing. You know, we blew speakers because we was rocking out. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? All that whole thing was a great time, and just, you know, trying to condense all of that little studio experiences in a little bit. But you know what I mean? Like all of that stuff was, you know what I mean? Good times. You know what I mean?
Mighty Mike, I know you got something.
You're juicy with it. What's up?
You have to have something.
We used to mix at D&D a lot in the golden era of D&D. So obviously Primo was right next door in the studio next to us, and he was just like, once he knew that you were ahead, like a golden era ahead, then he kind of trusted you in this weird way. Like one time he asked me, like, hey, could you bring in some records from your collection that maybe would be good choruses? And I was so honored that he trusted me maybe to bring him some good lines to scratch, you know? And then sometimes my friends who I grew up with from Philly would come to the studio. And once they showed him they knew about records from 1986, 87, 88, then he would open up to them and that they would be so like flattered, you know? So nothing crazy, but that was just cool.
No, that's dope for him to ask you. That shit's dope. D&D and they changed the headquarters and shit. I went there when it was headquarters. That's just crazy. Like, yo. And that shit don't exist no more. They did something with the building or something, right? So
they shutting everything down. So K Cut, what's the Toronto scene like up there besides the Drakes and the Tory Lanez and the maybe Cardinals?
Oh,
I mean, put it this way, Toronto is, I always tell people it's a new wave, man, right now in terms of like all that trap shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not mad at it, you know what I mean? But in terms of underground, you know what I mean? You still got dudes like Mr. Attic from the grassroots out here, you know what I'm saying? And like, I just really mess with a lot of the dudes that buy records, you know what I'm saying? Like vinyl diggers, and you know what I mean? We have this thing that called the live convention every year. It was shut down this year because of COVID. So everybody across the world comes up, and it's like a big function where it was almost like the shit that they had in New York back in the days in the hotel where the vinyls, everybody come together, and you could see like Diamond over the other side and Pete or Large, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like that out here in Toronto, you know what I mean? Where it's called the live convention. And that's pretty much, man, like, honestly, I don't really fuck with a lot of like, you know, trap and all of that shit, like you know, in terms of what people are doing in terms of musically. But when it comes to like rare records and digging and like, that's what I'm about that, man. I'm always about that, man. I always like to find new shit and listen to new shit because I'm a collector, you know what I'm saying, of rare and cool shit, you know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much, man, like you know, there's a dope scene. And then also Scratch Bastard, man, like when he does his events, they're amazing, man. Like you always want to go. Like, so I try to catch events like that where there's like, you know, like DJs that are playing like real cool hip hop shit, like, you know what I mean, of an era that was just like untouchable at one point, you know what I mean? So, you know, that's pretty much it, man. But I mean, all that trap shit is popping on here, man. But you know, for the underground scene is dope too, man. Like, you know what I mean? But it's shut down now, but you know, hopefully we'll get back to a place where, you know what I mean, we're able to come together again and be able to you know, get busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, keep hope alive, man. That shit is very respectable, man.
There's
man. Bullshit everywhere.
Do you guys believe that the hip hop culture will fade away after a while, or do you think people, because of us, will keep it alive?
Hip hop would never fade away, man. Well, I mean, like,
you know how jazz did, you know what I'm saying? Like, jazz is not really talked about only by certain people, you know what I mean? So it's like,
I mean, you know what's so funny, man? Every genre of music is still relevant. You know what I'm saying? Jazz is still relevant.
Yeah. It's just not popular. Yeah.
It's just not a mainstream. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you're saying. Like mainstream is pop music. You know what I'm saying? But it's not relevant and it's not in your face. But jazz is pretty much still like going strong. Everything is going strong. It's just that you gotta find it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's just like underground shit. You gotta know where the circuit started to get to it.
That's how we was back then too, though. You have to go because you want to surprise your man. Like, yo, look what I got. Where the fuck you get that from? Like, don't worry about it. When you had your jacket or your sneakers or whatever, like, yo, I don't want you to got what I got. You know what I mean? Do what you get.
Yeah, that's what connected us all. You pull up to on the block. What the fuck is that? What you playing in your car?
In your mind. You know what I mean? Everything. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, where the fuck that came from? Like, yo,
it's funny because the underground is still alive and kicking, man. It's just, where do you go? Where do you find it? how do you know what I mean, be a part of that culture? You know what I'm saying? And like even in the new music now, a lot of them dudes is, you know, creeping up and like trying to do the lo-fi shit and trying to like, you know, chop up records and make that shit sound cool. But it's everywhere, man. Like when I go out to Europe, man, it's like right in your face, man. You know what I'm saying? You got people wearing like all the nostalgia, all the vintage shit, you know what I'm saying? And listening to fucking 90s shit. You know what I'm saying? You go to Japan and it's the same shit. They're heavily on that shit, man. You know what I mean? So it's out there, man, but it's not mainstream. You know what I mean?
That's the only thing kills me about the even the Griselda movement. Love Griselda, but don't act like that shit just came out of nowhere again. Like that shit was always here.
Just carrying on tradition to what it is at the same time.
You always had the Sky Zoos and the Torres and the Apollo Browns and the Elzons.
Even Rhapsody, man. Even Rhapsody.
So one team gets up there and it's like, oh, they brought that shit back. Nah, you had to know where to get that shit.
You would actually think that where Eminem is now, Jay-Z is now, Dre is now, that they, you know, stop with whatever's going on popular. Fuck that. You're already good now. Fucking bring this culture, like how Nas does with Mass Appeal. You know what I mean? Bring this culture in now. Show the people what made y'all inspired to do this shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, once you get that power, you know what I mean? Like, if I had the power, you know what I mean? Like, yo, this is.
Trust me, man. I feel the same way too, man. I mean, you have a lot of dudes like that in power that can do the things that we want to do, but they're not doing it. You know what I'm saying?
You got enough money, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
I still want a Jay-Z DJ Premier album. I still want that.
Exactly.
I want an OC Premier album. I'll tell OC.
Well, by the way, when is Detox coming out?
Yeah,
we ain't never gonna see that at all.
February 29th.
I would like to hear a lot of rapper DJ Premier albums. You know what I mean? I would like to hear a lot of rapper
Nas Premier. What happened? Where that at?
I guess it's a possibility that might be coming. You know what I mean? Because
same place where Dr. Umar School gonna open up. That's when.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm tired of the promoting and the possibilities. Just drop that shit. When tell me when you ready to drop that shit, and then we can, you know.
You know what? It's funny because I'm in this chat room on the gram with like Pete and like Supreme and like all these other diggers and shit, and they were talking about the new Nas album, and they were like, yo, Pete, man, like how come y'all like premiered, you didn't do a track, and Primo didn't do a track, or Large didn't do a track, and they were talking about how like Nas is stuck in a way where he's just trying to like, you know, do his thing for now, like the now era, and it's just like everybody's like, yo, Illmatic was the illest shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. He came out with an album the past 3 years. It wouldn't hurt for him to do that shit. It would not hurt.
It would not hurt. It would not hurt.
What the fuck is it gonna hurt? Okay, what does it hurt for do 10 songs? You know what I'm saying? Like boom, and then.
But he's gonna
If
turn
anything,
around.
I think it'd be more beneficial.
He's gonna turn around and call it the lost tapes, and he's gonna be like, "Yo, they were done like years ago."
Yeah. Like, fuck the lost.
Exactly. That lost tapes joint was tight. That last but that should be his album. That should be his real album.
Yeah, but it honestly like
a mixtape. Yeah. So like yeah.
People were talking shit about that too. He was getting ridiculed off of that too, but I was like, I like that.
I like the lost tapes. That joint. He had 2 Pete Rock joints, the RZA joint.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all heard the shit that Pete did for AZ, man. That shit is incredible.
No, it just came out.
Is the new joint
on AZ's album? It's incredible. You know what I mean? Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, if Pete, you know, and all them other dudes like regrouped and did like an Illmatic like for the future, trust me, man, that would be so fucking incredible. But I'm telling you, that shit that Pete did for AZ on his new album, oh man,
look for that shit. You heard? He just plugged y'all in, so when you watch this, you guys gotta go check it out. Yeah, but Nas, it doesn't hurt because everybody in this room is a fan of Nas that want to hear that Illmatic shit, and it's not just us; it's a whole bunch of people besides us. You know what I mean? So why not do it? Like, you know what I mean? Don't do it to give it to us. Do it to like, let me go hang out with Large Professor for a little while and fucking before we do this, and then okay, let's do this now because Large Professor's in his mentality now too. You know what I mean? What I'm saying, where he's not. Back then, his mentality, we all grow and get where we go to. You understand what I'm saying? Like when you heard them,
I bet you if Nas hit Large up right now, like I need 5 beats, I bet you Large Professor will hit him back with an email of 30 beats within like 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Yo,
like
Pete.
I've been waiting for this call. Bye.
Yo, Nas said in the interview that they asked him you saw the Torre interview with Nas? Have you heard it? And he told Torre, he said, "Listen, I gotta get Large Professor. I gotta go back to him. I've been thinking about it." And Large is Large personally can't cut like that. Like you guys came up, he's not greedy. He'll be like, "Yo, come here, Premier, come here, Pete, get on this shit." You know what I'm saying? So it's like boom. So it would be real dope if just let Large control it. You know what I mean? Like boom, and it will work. You know what I mean? So
like he did last time.
Yeah.
Large
is a big. The Large is the big party. I know you was probably sitting here through a lot of Illmatic sessions. Am I right or wrong?
No, I wasn't there.
This was after the situation.
I heard the demos that he did before they even started Illmatic. Like all that shit. Like I heard all that Nas shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So like I knew like he was already preparing Nas, you know what I mean, and positioning him. So when they had that opportunity, to do the album, it was just like, why not get Primo? Why not get Pete? You know what I'm saying? And it was like like Large pretty much had a vision for that whole shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I think it worked in Nas's favor, man, because that he molded that shit. That was his shit. You know what I'm saying?
And he never made a better
album. That's crazy.
He never made a better album than Illmatic to me.
I heard the demos, man. I heard all the demos. Large used to come over the crib and be like, "Yo, we just came from Power Play. This is that Nas shit that I've been working on." And I was like, "Yo, this shit is incredible, man." Like even back then, like dude was like, I think he was like 15 or so, man, like spitting like crazy shit, man. You know what I'm saying? So like I heard him when he was like, you know what I'm saying? Like the raw shit. You know what I mean? Which is like, fuck, man. Like all that like platinum, shiny shit is cool. But sometimes you got to go back to where the grassroots are. You know what I'm saying? What created that whole shiny shit, you know what I'm saying, that you're floating in right now. You know what I'm saying? And
can't go back there. Nas can't go back there.
I know, but
every once in a while he does, though.
I think he can.
Every once in a while he does make a super crazy joint.
And if he can, man, I would say do it right now, especially as crazy as it is right now with cops doing this crazy shit, and then of course the pandemic. They better do it all right now, man, because this life shit is short.
Yeah, man.
That Hot Boy album, that album's dope. You know what I'm saying? That album's dope. You know what I mean? It's not what I want to hear, but it's dope. You know what I'm saying? Like,
you got some joints on there.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas, I'm sorry, I gotta sign off.
All right, yo.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Mike. Hit me up with your number.
No thanks, man.
Man. Respect you, man.
Thank you, my man.
For real.
Till next time.
Sorry about that.
I'm going to get you again, man. Yeah, but I'm saying you got the Nas. We've been waiting for it forever. You know what I mean? And all of us. You know what I mean? As an artist, because coming up, and the people who you guys like really was inspired by probably the same people that you were inspired by. You know what I'm saying? So like, you're like, oh my God, like you know what I mean? And
yeah, it should. You would think it would. It got to come back around eventually. All the whack stuff we back together, coming back, and it'd be like some stuff you ain't even checking for. You mean, well, what about the stuff I'm checking for? Like we need.
What's crazy is we don't know about it until somebody tells us. Did you hear this from such and such? You're like, No, like boom, because of promotion. People saying you got to get a distribution deal. You don't got to get nothing but promotion. Promotion is the only thing that an artist needs. They don't need nothing else. They can control everything else on their own. Just give me a promotion deal.
Let people know that it's out. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You know what I mean? Then all the touring's gonna happen, the selling's gonna happen on your own display and shit. You know what I mean? Like, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And that's what everything. That's why you know what I mean. People say fuck Facebook and fuck Instagram and fuck. This is the reasons why we connecting right now and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
gotta use it. Gotta use it the
you know
right
what I mean?
way.
There's always good and bad and everything. You know what I mean? And
yeah, gotta curate that.
Social media in itself, man, is a fun and it could be fucked up and it could also be good and it could also work for people, man. Because I remember when did all of this YouTube and Facebook, it came out like early 2000, right? And that changed the way things were for
MySpace did it first, like
so it changed the way people thought, like, because they had the Napster and all of that stuff, you know what I mean, and people were getting nervous, so that was the wave of like things is going to change for the future, you know what I'm saying? And now it's just like, yo, you could promote a record on the gram, you know what I'm saying? You can have like 5,000 followers and 5,000 people like buy your shit. You know what I'm saying? Just depends on. You know what I mean? You gotta. It's funny because not to cut y'all off, but it's funny because a lot of people are like, yo, I don't spend a lot of time on the gram. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't thrive to have like 1 million people on the fucking gram. I just fuck with people that fuck with me, and it's all love. You know what I'm saying? I post like probably once a week or whatever if I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's about, man. It's not for me to be a star or a fucking gram star or whatever. It's about grassroots and being you. You know what I mean? And showing people, yo, this is K Cut's journey. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm about. Oh shit, y'all, I just found this crazy Donny Hathaway record. I'm gonna play it, you know what I mean? And to share with people. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there to like be that dude. You know what I'm saying? And you can use social media in however which way you want to do it. And that's the magical thing about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I gotta say about that shit, you know?
But granted, you had the pleasure of all that before the internet business, you know what I'm saying? You had the record labels, you had the videos and the MTV raps, and you was on TV, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I mean,
you know
that like I can it's just like when, you know, it's funny when you say that, because it's like growing up as a kid and me buying records and seeing a James Brown record, man, I always felt like, damn, how would it feel to be in that time where, you know, you were growing up in this, like you were like 16 and you were buying them records and you were going to James Brown concerts and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like doing this stuff in the 90s, it's like so magical because there was a lot of things and a lot of changes that happened in that era. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, it's like hard to explain, but it was like a blessing. You know what I'm saying?
Your dream came true.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we didn't know Main Source or Nas or any of this shit was going to be the way it was. We were kids that wanted to make records and let our friends hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? We got a record out. You know what I'm saying? It's on vinyl. You know what I mean? We weren't trying to do a lot of the things that, you know, a lot of these people are trying to do now in terms of, I want to be a star. And we weren't thinking about money, man. We were thinking about, we just want to put a record out. You know what I mean? Have something with our name on it. You know what I mean?
You know, it's crazy. You know, it's crazy. Even to this day, when you put something out, somebody who inspired you, when they acknowledge that shit and like that shit, you're like, yes, okay, I accomplished what the fuck I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Because you wanted to impress them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wanted to impress the people who impressed you. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, that's everybody else is like, okay, yeah, what's up? Are your peoples, are your friends, or whatever. You know what I mean? But you'd be like, yeah, what's up? And you appreciated it, and then you understand the way you were looking at a Pete Rock, they might be looking at you the same way and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like,
back then it was sorry, Kev. Back then it was just like when you're putting out a record, it was almost like something magical. But today it's just like it doesn't have that same,
it's been like that for like 20 years.
Yeah, it doesn't have that same like that vibe, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, there's a new Tribe record or there's a new Pete Rock record. I don't get excited like that. You know what I'm saying? There's no village. You know what I'm saying?
But it was a whole thing back then because it was like credits. Yeah, it was a tangible.
We always looking at who they
you would get the cassette tape, get it home. You would listen to it and be looking at the credits while you could smell the plastic. I can smell the plastic now from when you open the wrapper off the plastic. It'd be fresh new tape. You know what I mean? With your boys about to listen to the new EPMD joint.
Exactly.
I ain't heard no songs off this joint yet. Let me hear this joint.
Exactly.
Crazy, the whole experience.
I gotta say one story off of me. I mean, it's not my interview, but we went out there, and I guess it was a Music Factory. I thought it was Beach Street Records in Manhattan. Then when they said the Mikey D, it was a spot in New York. It was,
shit.
That's where I got it from. You know what I'm saying? In Manhattan, you know what I'm saying? So the Manhattan was Fordham Road, the Bronx. I don't remember. It was one of the whatever, but. The EPMD just dropped their album, you know what I'm saying? And we went there and they didn't have it on vinyl. And I'm like, all right. So we got in the car driving home and I hear da-da, coming straight from the Boondocks. I'm looking at my man, I'm like, yo, what is this? He goes, it's a cassette. I'm like, so you bought that shit. You ain't tell me you bought that shit. That's fucked up. But like, yo, they had a cassette, but they didn't have the vinyl. My man wanted to surprise me by him buying the cassette and not giving it to me, not letting me know that they got the cassette to surprise me in the car. I was pissed. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Tony did that shit, Rocko. Him and Fred, yo. I was like, yo. He played that shit.
I used to call the record store like, hold my copy.
Oh man, I was pissed.
I'll be there at 3 o'clock.
Wow.
Oh, man, yo, EPMD, because at that time EPMD was like the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? They're saying like Rocko even said it. Like Rocko said on one of his songs that Dre kind of took off from when EPMD broke up with the funk over there.
Yeah.
You think about it now, like I thought about
West Coast came. There was the West Coast emergence after.
Yeah, because Eric Sermon was doing that shit first. You know what I'm saying? So like, yo, you know what I mean? So like,
classic joints, crazy.
No doubt.
Beautiful times.
Yes, yo. Of course. I mean, you can't. It's like Method Man said in the interview. He said you can't ever change the first time you took that first puff and got high, or you took that first drink, or the first time you fucking busted a nut. You can't do that shit again. You know what I mean? It's like it's once it happens, it happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's like fuck.
Just keep chasing it.
Do it again and shit. Like yo.
I can tell you what, even if you're not chasing it, man, just feeling the energy and then passing it off to somebody who's never heard of you, like me, for example. I'm about to show my age. My father is actually about the same age as Mighty Mai.
Wow.
So me, I'm those young cats, man.
Right.
I'm those young cats. Wow. So I'm only 26 years old.
Yeah, you're a nickel.
So when I get,
he was born when Nas was out. Illmatic.
And you a nickel.
And the crazy thing is, while my father was going to you guys' concert, K-Cut, my first concert was a Jay Dilla concert.
Wow.
My first concert was a Slum Village concert. So when I get put up on, when I get put on game to all the folks that came before him, that excites me. Yeah. And, I'm, deep into the underground to a point where now I'm teaching my father about folks that he was supposed to be listening to back in the day.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, You know, so passing that energy off to somebody else, even though you can't feel it anymore. You know, passing that energy off to somebody else is almost as invigorating.
I mean,
You know,
I think
so that's why
that's like the most important thing. So basically, it's just like the fire, or I want to say the torch was like, yo, here, you take this, and then you did your research, and then you felt the love for, you know what I mean, the music, you know what I mean, and that's the best thing that you can ever teach, and that's how like this music will always, be here forever. You know what I'm saying? The culture, the music, is because of, it's like we're teaching our next generation, this is the history, but you can like what you like now, but understand what was before what you like now, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just like if you go to like a show or a party and motherfuckers are still playing Biggie One More Chance, and and I'm talking about like kids that are like 18 and your age, and you know the words, then you know that we're doing our job because the history is being taught and it's being spread. You know what I mean? It's just like, me growing up, and I can relate to a James Brown record, or I can relate to any 80s or 90s record because that's what I was like, brought up through. You know what I mean? And it's just like, you just got to teach every young person, you got to understand this history, and this is what this history is about, and it's long. You know what I mean?
right. And the crazy thing is, so a couple of my boys out here, they're actually, they're really about Spark's age. I'm teaching them, people like Kev. They've never heard Kev before, so I played them the "I Do What I Do" album, and they were just hooked from that. People like Apollo, people like Knots. One of my boys, quite honestly, he's never heard of Knots, and he's 36 years old.
Wow.
So I put him up on game on that.
So, Kev,
So
you
what?
born in 76?
76, yeah.
So you 70s baby too. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he's old enough to be my father.
Oh, clean your room, boy. But yo, I gotta jump off in a minute anyway.
I gotta jump off too, man.
But yeah, 70s. I will say that the 70s, when you look on the back of a lot of the craziest records ever in life, what year does it say on the back of it? That's all I got. It's a mic drop.
70 to 79.
70, but 76 specifically, I would say 76 specifically. I'm gonna just leave it there.
In 72, the year the black.
I guarantee you go through a crate of records in your old records and be like, yo, this record crazy. What year this come out? 1976. Wow.
Yo, honestly,
songs in the key of life. 1976. Blah.
Yo, Kev's right, man. A lot of the hottest joints were in the 70s, man. From
70s as always.
You know what I'm saying? The 70s is the shit, man.
That's what I look for when I dig, yo. I don't go. I might hit 81 and stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's still some 80s. It's still some good stuff. But the 70s was the crazy.
Have to be some craziness that I never heard of. You know what I'm saying? Like, boom, but like, yo, but when I see
you can
that,
stop in the 70s and not ever go past any era. You know what I mean? You can just like, because there's so much stuff that came out.
Yeah.
Genres of music.
The 70s had the best sound, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
The best sound to sample from, the best sound.
Yeah.
Like the studio.
The air in the room.
I can imagine how much it was an hour back then. The fucking, and it was a lot more money then too, yo.
It's like they say with the 90s, man. It was the golden era. The 70s was like the golden era of that time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of soul, definitely of soul.
So does that mean that?
But yo, Kev.
Yeah.
But yo, Kev, before you leave, man, you think we can count on you to come out to a beat showcase?
Oh, damn! Put me on the spot. Okay, where in Virginia? Where we at? Connecticut?
You don't have to play. I mean, you don't have to play nothing, man. We just want you to show up, man.
He said he actually
Connecticut or
no, Soul City said he saw you.
No.
In Virginia? In Virginia?
No. This is in Silver Spring.
Silver Spring. Okay. How long y'all been doing this?
We've been doing it for a minute, man.
It ain't mine. The beat conductors. It ain't the.
Oh, okay. I know
No,
what you
no,
said.
no.
Okay, there you go.
No,
Okay,
not
'cause
the beat
I've been
conductors.
to a couple of those. Okay.
Not the beat conductors. No.
There's a whole nother joint.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's actually every Friday.
Okay.
Morgan's joint.
Oh, Morgan's joint. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Silver Spring.
Shout out to Professor M.
Yeah. Matter of fact, down the street from the record exchange.
You talk about the record. Yeah, you talk about the record store joint. Yeah. Professor M. Shout out to Professor
Joe's Records.
DJ Aaron, the first person that told me about that. He was like, "Yo, they playing beats and stuff in the record store." You know what I mean? But you know what the realness was? It would be on a Friday, and if I was working, I would be like, "Yo, I just got off work. I'm not." You know what I mean? I'm going home. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would be like, "Yo, I got a long metro ride home. You know how it is." So I was like, I might have stopped by. No, I don't think I ever stopped by, actually. I seen Professor M he was in one of the beat battles where I seen, at the museum, at the hip hop museum. That was the last job.
Right.
But yeah, y'all been doing that for a while. Word up. I don't even work at the record store no more.
So for getting the metro, man, even if I give you a ride out there, would you show up?
Sure. I mean, yeah, now, it's I'm coming from Upper Marlboro, so you driving, Jack. But no, I could get out there. Y'all not having it right now though. I know that.
Every Friday. We have it every Friday. We definitely having it now.
You still having it? Yo, son.
We're gonna end the recording right this moment. Yo, thank you, brothers.
Montgomery County,
down here. Thank you, brothers, for coming in here. You know I'm gonna grab.
Cut.
I know we're gonna grab both.
Big respect. Word up.
I want to do a main source one in the future, yo.
Let's do it, bro.
Yo, we're not hanging up. We're just ending the fucking thing. Okay, ready? So thank you.
Respect to the producer's corner. Word up.
No doubt.
For real.
Producer's corner.